guys, mental health is a serious thing, and the more we're aware of it, and the more we can do to help the people that are in need, the better. And be on the lookout for some additional videos that kind of explain exactly how law enforcement works with mental health advocacy, and I may have the names not exactly right, but how they work together to really give treatment and help to the ones that are most in need. Learning more about this program, they have their own unit. It's an unmarked car. They're able to send someone out. You said beforehand, if someone was in a crisis situation, talk us through what it looked like with just law enforcement in general. You get a call, something's going on, it's a crisis.
Okay, well, before our unit, it being a crisis, 2 units are going to respond to that scene just for safety.
Right.
Once we arrive on the scene,
which is a high percentage of the people that are on the streets protecting everybody.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say this person has some suicidal thoughts or threats or whatever. Before our unit, we would either have to bring 2 more units to stay with the individual while the 2 units that heard the threats goes to the probate judge's office, and gets what we call an order to apprehend signed by the judge. That takes.
This doesn't happen in 5 minutes. This is half a day probably.
No,
Yes, yes, it's 4 or 5 hours process, and now with a co-responder, the licensed counselor is what we're really proud of. Instead of that person being in crisis for 4 or 5 hours waiting on us to get the job done. Right now, we have it less than an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. We can have that person transported to a crisis stabilization unit.
Wow.
And they're able to be receiving treatment in less than
an hour. This is a counselor versus someone that's there for just law enforcement training.
And they're a trained licensed professional that's able to.
And let's face it too. I mean, even the most calm-minded person at the time gets a little bit nervous when you see blue lights, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
And you have 4 units showing up, and it can enhance the anxiety of whatever's going on. So plus it just draws additional attention, and it's just a lot of times that's not the attention that's needed. It's the attention of trying to get them help.
Right. But when you call 911, that's what you get.
Right.
And so we're trying to change that face of that moment of crisis. And that's what this co-responder unit is all about.
And stop the circle as much as possible by getting them the help they really need.
Sure.
I think that's excellent. And also not to mention what else could be taking place that might be pulling too many law enforcement officers away from what their total job. So they have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it really, I think it's a great thing, and I think supporting this is huge, and I really commend our local leaders for working together. I mean, you've got city, county, different hospital systems, you have different groups all working together to deal with the problem we all face, which is mental health. So guys, show them some support. Every October, the first weekend in October, you'll have
First Saturday,
they have a big masquerade ball. But you know what? October's a long time away from when you're watching this video, most likely. Give them a call. I'm sure they'll take donations and any kind of other support that you may be able to offer or resources. Reach out to these fine people and let them know how you can help or what you would like to do to help, and I'm sure they'll be open to conversation.